Hey YouTube, Coppersan here. The day that the classic server MapleStory Global is releasing is getting closer and closer. So today I wanted to discuss what I hope for unique content the classic server will get. Feel free to share your own opinions, your own hopes and dreams, and of course your opinions on my ideas in the comments, because I got some wild ones. And some things like jumping down and archers and assassins being able to keep attacking when monsters get too close already seem to be there, which is amazing, but I have some very different ideas. So let's start with I think the most controversial idea that I have for classic server, and I'm curious to hear everyone's opinion on this one as well. As a modern MapleStory player, one of the things that I wish classic would have is daily quests. And then I'm not talking about some gimmicky minigame or like wacky mechanic, just a simple kill 300 monsters for a chunk of EXP type of daily quest, or I don't know, gather 20 random drops from monsters to help build Cody's theme park, quests like that. Like many, I adore old school MapleStory and I can't wait to get grinding, but unlike back in the day when I played old school MapleStory, I had all the time in the world, and nowadays, being an adult, I have way less time to actually play games. But I feel like it would be such a shame if I could never experience a lot of what old school MapleStory has to offer just because that grind is so dang long. So I was thinking, what if Classic World, as part of the improvements, got like a very simple daily quest where that rewards a good chunk of EXP. This would help all the old school players who now have less time but still want to jump in to quickly do some Ludi or Arbus and don't have the time to play for a couple of hours every day. I also don't think it will take much away from the classic experience, as it's just a new quest that's repeatable that gives a nice amount of EXP. I don't believe that old school MapleStory should be very easy, but I do hope that the team working on this world also keeps in mind that most players don't have as much time as we did back then. I'm curious to hear your opinion on this as well, because I can also totally imagine that having another daily might feel like a strain if you're already playing modern MapleStory, or you might think about joining the classic world to escape from dailies altogether, which is also definitely very fair. Another thing that I was thinking about a lot is how old school MapleStory would monetize, because no one wants to be bothered with HP washing or buying HP reset scrolls, but there are just so many clothing items you could sell, and it probably won't make that much money or won't be very profitable in the long run. So I was thinking, what could be added to Classic World that benefits everyone and gives Nexon a good chance to get more revenue so that the Classic World can continue to be updated and be worked on. So I was thinking, what if Nexon would add like a battle pass like system? One row of free rewards for everyone and another row of exclusive rewards that you can only get if you purchase the extended battle pass. Rewards can be anything from cash clothing or pets to, I don't know, double XP cards, with the added downside that some might consider this pay to win, and competitive players might feel forced to buy the premium battle pass if it contains double XP buffs and whatnot. In this video I'm speaking from my own point of view, because I know I will never ever in my life have enough free time to play old school MapleStory even remotely competitive. So I personally really don't care if players can level faster than me, and I think it would be a good incentive to keep playing if there were free rewards and Nexon can earn more revenue so the classic world can keep being developed, and the additional free rewards will also help players with less time, that they can feel like they experience more from the classic world without having to spend. Plus, I much rather have a battle pass than having to deal with random style boxes and gachapon. Oh god no, please no more random boxes, that's actually old school. Another thing that I would like to see for the team to bring over from modern MapleStory are runes. And I think that Artil actually does this pretty well.
In Artil, runes spawn in maps and can be used to gain a small buff, from EXP to drop rate to a small attack buff.
It's nothing game breaking, and I don't think that you should add like the rune laser attacks or all the other crazy modern effects that runes have. Just a small buff that you can get in a map when you're grinding every 50 minutes or so would be pretty neat, and I also don't think it will take away too much from the whole classic experience. Another wish that I have for the MapleStory Global team is to be absolutely prepared for a storm of players that are ready to get into Classic. I really hope that the Classic world isn't going to be like a small world with 10 channels and that's it. It's going to be absolute carnage. Servers are going to explode. I'm expecting tens of thousands of players all wanting to join in as soon as the server goes live, and I really hope that the team thinks of a way to mitigate this insane influx of players that are all going to be wanting to get nostalgic. Also, on that same train of thought, I hope that party quests are not going to be instanced per channel anymore, because if we have 20 channels, then only 20 parties can be inside KPQ at a time, and if there really is going to be a huge amount of people playing Classic, that's not going to be fun no matter how good your track is. Same goes for Mushmom or any other field bosses who will get instantly annihilated by 50 maplers all wanting to get scrolls or eelbees. Perhaps those hidden instance maps where you could grind just by yourself would bring some relief here, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be crazy, I can almost guarantee it. Maybe also boost Channel 1's server even more, because I remember back in the day, Channel 1 was basically impossible to get into the free market because it lacked so much. There also are a lot of smaller things I would like to have changed. For example, character slots should be free and not an expensive purchase in the cash shop, or that you don't lose your black crystals when you mess up the quiz for the 3rd job advancement, please. That was so expensive back then if you failed that, especially because they kept changing the questions, or at least the game kept changing and then they didn't update the questions, I felt like, and then you would give like the wrong answer. Or when the 4th job advancement gets added, that mastery books to have a chance to fail, that was horrible back then. And some other things to maybe remove some RNG. If you complete the Icarus quest that you have to select an Icarus cape, instead of making it random, you could like select if you want 1, 2 or 3. Icarus Cape 2 gave speed, which was super important back in the day, so missing out on that cape was always a huge letdown if you were unlucky. And perhaps an alternative way to get that second piece of the Eye of Fire for the mechanically challenged maplers, so you don't need to buy jump quest servers and get your account hacked. And perhaps that you don't need to stay online to let your store stay open in the free market, and designated spots in the free market that you can't deviate from, so to prevent people from taking 2 spots with 1 store. Or, you know, what about some free Owls of Minerva every week or so, like 3 of them or something, so you don't have to go through the entire free market to look for items. Also, I hope there will be plenty of events ongoing. Who doesn't remember grinding for snowboards and skis in the winter, surfboards and those inflatable tubes in summer, and MapleStory weapons during the anniversary events? I really hope that there will be a steady influx of events and things to do and not just the base game. Of course, the game should continue to be updated, and I'm actually not sure until what point. Perhaps it would be good to do some community polls to see what people like. Because, for example, Night of Sickness, Aaron, Evan, Dual Blade, they all were added before the Big Bang update. Even Potential was added just before the Big Bang update. But to me personally, those classes don't really feel like classic MapleStory to me, even though I wouldn't mind playing old school Evan again. At least if they don't add that you have to buy Magic Guard skill books from actual and cash, like that was such a scam. I think it will be quite a balancing act to make classic MapleStory more approachable and fun while keeping the nostalgic vibes. For example, some players might not like the dice rolls for your stats or endless walking around huge maps, but it's also what makes old school MapleStory old school MapleStory. What are your hopes and wishes for the classic world, and what do you think of my ideas? Let me know in the comments. Please don't destroy me too much. And that's all I had for today, and many thanks for watching. And as always, special thanks to our members making these videos possible. Special thanks to Niels de Coninck, Raar maar waar, Sebastian Hanøy, Caudimorda, Lee, BackSpaceOTI, Ziggy, Flidiot, Knivesu, Cloudfix, Michael Menchaca, Raythius, Betrayal1489, Sylvio Neto, StrikerElk, Ryaiser Aryu, MaxBurnHeart, The Passenger, ScottyFlysFast, Only, Spudsy, snafuPop, Dewey Tran, Kaniwoo, Domi Kirch-Nehammer, Dexzu, Dantevictory, TheWolfDrake, Lord Fazil, Matthew Dev, Tails Kurspet, DVNCA, and Schwandro. Thank you so much for watching.